What is civil commitment for sexual violent offenders? To better understand how residents at the Special Commitment Center on McNeil Island discharge to community-based housing options, one must first understand the process of civil commitment. The Community Protection Act of 1990 helped create Washington's civil commitment program for the confinement and treatment of people with prior charges of sexually violent offenses who were determined to be at risk for reoffending and labeled them sexually violent predators, a legal title defined in state statute. Civil commitment is civil in nature and is therefore in addition to and outside of the criminal justice system and the criminal penalties for their criminal behavior. Before this act, people were released into the community from prison after serving their sentence.
Members of the Community Protection Task Force faced these issues with enormous courage and developed recommendations that will be strong medicine in the battle against the disease of violence.
This act allows people to be civilly committed to the Special Commitment Center, SCC, on McNeil Island in Pierce County following their prison sentence to receive additional treatment prior to their release. Upon completion of a probable cause hearing, a judge determines whether the person is a sexually violent predator and therefore sent to McNeil Island. The legislature made clear that civil commitment after prison is not for punishment, but for the purpose of sexual offender specific treatment. Constitutional protections against double jeopardy preclude punishing individuals twice for the same crime. While civilly committed at McNeil Island, the resident has many constitutional rights, such as a current examination of their mental condition made by DSHS at least once every year, as well as the right to petition the court for conditional release to a less restrictive alternative or unconditional discharge. In many cases, residents may be conditionally released prior to being unconditionally released to a less restrictive alternative to practice their skills in community-based treatment and under supervision in preparation for unconditional release. When a resident is released to an LRA, they are released to a community setting with strict conditions. Less restrictive alternatives have a variety of forms. A Secure Community Transition Facility, or SCTF, is a structured and closely supervised community resident program owned and operated by DSHS that provides 24/7 community protection and an appropriate environment, while conditionally released residents can continue treatment, learn appropriate life skills, and eventually make a successful transition to community living while being closely monitored. Less restrictive alternative community housing for conditionally released residents exists all throughout the state. LRA residents of both SCTFs and community housing placement are required to follow court-ordered conditions that include sex offender behavioral health treatment and monitoring by GPS. All residents are also closely supervised by DSHS social workers and corrections specialists from the Department of Corrections. Civil commitment, in combination with conditional release, helps to keep our community safe.